Good morning, everyone. Welcome into Saturday Morning Coaches Show. I'm Don Julian. Our special guest today, first appearance this year on the Coaches Show, we have Alexi Upton, the Wildcats soccer coach, and we're very glad to have him. They have been playing a lot of scrimmage games, so they'll wrap all that activity up today. And then next week begins the start of the regular season for both the Wildcats and the Lady Cats. And so we've got a lot to talk about on how the scrimmages have gone, and we'll be looking ahead at a lot of exciting things coming up for the Wildcats. Once again, Coach Upton seems to really have a good squad this year from what I've seen, and they've proved it in scrimmages for the most part with good performances. Let's check on other things, and we'll start with Wildcats basketball. 8-5 on the season after that bizarre game on Tuesday night. It was stopped at halftime because of COVID concerns, and that's never happened before that a game I've been involved in. So it's 2020, something new, and so they're still 8-5. Today they'll be traveling to Marshall for a district game, and it's 1 o'clock for the freshmen, 2:30 for JV, and 4 o'clock for the Wildcats varsity. And again, that's at Marshall, a district game there. Then this week on Tuesday, the Wildcats will be traveling to Nacogdoches, long trip there, and it's a 4:30, 4:30, 5:45, and 7 o'clock games in Nacogdoches on Tuesday night. And then the Wildcats also on the road on Friday at Hallsville, district game, 5:30, and 7 o'clock. I would imagine two gyms may be involved with that. And then they'll be back in the home gym next Saturday hosting Longview. And that'll be 5 o'clock, 6:15, and 8 p.m. For the varsity district match. The Lady Cats, what a huge, big win they got yesterday over an undefeated Gilmer team that was 12-0 and had literally slaughtered people. I mean, they hadn't played a game that anybody came within 10 points of them, and the Lady Cats beat them. I think it was about 8 points. It seemed like it was 46-38 or something like that. Just a tremendous win for the Lady Cats at home yesterday, and they are 7-6 for the season. And 2-2 in district play. That'll come in because they will be having district matches or games this week. They will be, however, they'll start with non-district as they wrap up that. This is kind of replacing the games, tournament games and stuff like that they would normally have. So they schedule both the Wildcats and Lady Cats scheduling non-district. They'll be at Hugo, Oklahoma on Tuesday, 5 o'clock JV, 6:30 varsity. They will host Hallsville on Friday, that's district, and 5 o'clock and 6:30 for the varsity. And then they will be at Longview next Saturday, 5 o'clock and 6:30 for the varsity, and again, a district game. The Lady Cats soccer team, we invited Javier on today, but he's got some things going on. He may be preparing for his alumni scrimmage, as that will be going on today for the Lady Cats, as they will be at the Prim at 2 o'clock and 3:30, and we'll talk about Alexi's coming up very shortly. The Lady Cats, by the way, I think they have won all of their scrimmages except one. I think they've won 6 and lost 1 or something like that, and that counts those 3 that they played on one day. That's 3 of them. But they have really done well. The only loss was to Royce City, and that is a good team, as we remember when we were in the district with them. And regular season starts for the Lady Cats. They will be hosting Kilgore at the Prim on Monday, 5:30 for the JV, 7:15 for the varsity, and KSST is going to show up for that one. And then they will be in the Kilgore tournament Thursday through Saturday. So that's everything else. And now we can talk with Alexi Upton, the Wildcat soccer coach. And the first agenda item is the alumni scrimmage, Coach. And you've got, as Andy Holt used to call them, the old dogs coming in. And I think he reserved that really for the really old fellas that were trying to make a comeback. Yeah. I remember a player that played in the 80s actually used to show up pretty regularly. He was a big-time goal scorer back in the day, and so it wouldn't be unusual to see him show up. So that he really qualified in the old dog category, but lots of fun. I just, and I'm sure the alums like to get after the current players. I don't know if they can hang with them. It just depends on who those alums are. I guess if you got somebody, a Tony Bravo or somebody playing a lot of soccer, it could be a long day, but a lot of fun, the alumni scrimmage.
Yeah, that old dogs title, that really is just, that's probably like somewhere around 2000 nowadays.
Yeah.
That's not really 80s or 90s anymore. We don't really see many of those guys, but yeah, it's a really good time, and it's a really great experience. Our kids love to do it because they love to play people that they watched when they were little kids, and it's such a close community around here that everybody knows everybody, and so a lot of those older guys love to come back and because they've seen these kids kind of grow up, and so they really love to just come back and watch these kids and play against them, and yeah, they get after it, and it's good, it's fun, it's a game you want to win, so it's a good time.
I would imagine in a community like this that when the alums come back, they're probably facing brothers, cousins, and everything like that. Yeah. So they really play each other all the time, probably know each other well.
Yeah, I mean they've played together since they were little kids, and when the littler guys always play with the older guys, just playing around, and like you said, a lot of there's a lot of family. I've got younger brothers of older guys and cousins of older guys, so there is always an interest in us because of all our alumni, and so they always come back and they always play hard.
Now you got a chance to go back to Mesquite Poteet, your alma mater, and get to play in that alumni game. Have you lost a step, or you still got it, Coach?
I think I still got it. I played a position that I didn't really play in high school or college, but it was fun. The alumni won that game, and it's always fun to just go back there, and for me just to hang out with all the dudes that I graduated with and things like that. So it was a really cool experience.
They let you play forward or something? You try to put
I
played
center back. I played in the back. Yeah, and I was just like, I just wanted to get on the field and play. And alumni games, a lot of people argue for like who's playing forward and center mid, and I was just like, I'll just stay back here and play every minute. So.
What did you normally play?
I played center mid when I was in college.
Center mid.
And then I played center back and left back when I was in high school. I played center mid. In college, I played left back, center back. So I was back there defending. So.
You had some old teammates, guys you played with there?
Yeah, I mean, and there's still a couple dudes that were still in college and stuff and still play college soccer, so that was a really good experience. We'll have a couple alumni in our one that's going to be current college soccer players, so it'll be good for everybody. So.
Probably couldn't help scouting a little bit. We'll be playing Mesquite Poteet, as we'll be talking about just a little bit later, so you may have kind of been seeing who can do what out there.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely took a look. I'd be dumb not to, but yeah, I mean, I was like, okay, this guy plays here, he's pretty solid. This guy plays here, he's pretty solid. So, they're very talented. They always have a lot of talent, and they're just going to be that way because, they're in the area, in the Metroplex team, and they're always going to be skillful, and it's how organized they are and how deep they are that makes them, just a good team and a great team.
All right, just getting started with Alexi Upton. A lot to talk about. We'll take our first internal break. We'll be back with more right after this. And we're back on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show. Coach Alexi Upton, the Wildcats soccer coach, is with us on this Saturday morning. And we talked a little bit, Coach, about the alumni scrimmage. Now, also going on today in just a few minutes, actually about 50 minutes, your JV1 team, and that's another story, but your JV1 will be playing a Carrollton team out there at the Prim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this year we got two teams. That's probably what you were saying in your other story. This year we have a JV1 and a JV2. And we really challenged our JV1 group to say, hey, we're going to put you against a bunch of smaller varsities, and we want to see how you go out there and compete. They played Grand Saline to a 3-2 game. They played Caddo Mills. They played Mount Pleasant Chapel Hill. They've played quite a few varsities already, and I think that more than anything is more of a challenge than playing somebody else's JV. Go play a varsity, go play some older guys, go play some more physicality, and that's really going to help you grow faster and quicker. They got another one today, and just a short, 45 minutes, and that's a varsity group, and from the Metroplex, so that'll be a really good game for them. I'm really excited to watch them play.
Yeah, Carrollton Ranch View, over from the Carrollton area. Actually, it's kind of a weird school. I think it may be actually physically located in Arlington, but I think it's in the Carrollton School District, so they call it Carrollton Ranch View. I asked a coach about it at a volleyball game one time and got that long answer, but it's kind of just the way it happens, depending on your ISD and that sort of thing. So anyway, that's a real interesting, Coach, that you have so many players participating in soccer to be able to have three teams. I can remember several years ago, Mount Pleasant was in that situation, and we agreed to play. We actually played 3 games against Mount Pleasant over at the old track when we were, I guess Prim was under construction. Nicky Wiggins was the coach. And he actually, I got out of basketball or something, and I see the lights on, and I figure I'll go watch the last few minutes of the varsity. They're in the last few minutes of the second JV game, and I got to watch the whole varsity game coming up. So kind of interesting to have that, to have a JV1 and a JV2. Really, similar to a lot of basketball teams that have the freshman team. So you're really developing a lot of athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that JV2 is basically a freshman team. There's not a sophomore or junior on there, but yeah, it's really great. And it's only going to get bigger, I think, in my opinion. The longer I stay here, because we're going to keep all the kids. We're going to keep developing all the kids, and I think we get some more kids through middle school. They see that it's successful. They see we're winning games. They see that people are having fun, and they're like, oh, that soccer's cool. I'm gonna go play soccer. So it's gonna be really great. We only graduate 8 dudes, so we're gonna get another 15 to 20 freshmen next year. So it's still gonna be 3 teams next year as well, hopefully. So it's a good time, exciting time for us.
Yeah, that's great when you can put that many new players into your mix there and can see who can fit and all that kind of stuff, and it really helps to kind of rebuild or kind of reload, as we like to say, for the next season. Even you have one of those big years where you really lose a lot of seniors. That does happen. I think last year was quite a few seniors on that bunch, and really talented guys, but. So that's really a new thing that's very, very exciting for the soccer program. As I was looking at the results from the scrimmages, overall pretty good. You had one hiccup in there, and you know which one that is.
Yeah.
But you started out with those small guys, the North Lamar, Sabine, and Mineola, and of course that just kind of gets everybody's legs moving a little bit.
Yeah.
A chance to score a few goals here and there. Now West Mesquite, that was a very talented team, a tie. North Forney, that was the hiccup we were talking about.
Yeah.
For some reason, that just was not a good night. And then a very impressive win against always tough Greenville, and then a win against a very good Pittsburgh team that's highly ranked, and at least the experts think, though, in the preseason in 4A.
Yeah, West Mesquite was ranked number 4 in 5A. We tied them. That was a really good game. Beating all the little guys early is just, like you said, get our legs moving, get people in positions, try some different things. We went to North Forney, and, that was I think that was honestly the most important game out of all those, because we saw, our kids saw, hey, if you don't do the system exactly how I describe it, and we don't do exactly what's expected of us, we're not going to get the outcomes that we want. If you don't go 110%, if you don't give 110% effort, if we're not organized, this is going to happen. So it was really good for the kids. They were like, oh, wow, like, okay, yeah, that's the way it is, So, that was a really important game for us. And I think rebounding off of that, they saw, okay, this is what we got to do to be successful. And they went out and did it versus Greenville and won big, 6-0.
Yeah.
And, they were like, oh, okay, so we got to do it this way, And then we went to Pittsburgh, and they're ranked number 5 or 6 in 4A, and they're a really good team, and they're always a really good team. Last year we tied them 0-0. They're like they're like your little brother that's really good, and you're like, God, man, like this guy's getting good, because every year they play a really good game versus us. My first year we played them, we only beat them 1-0. They're really solid. They got a lot of really good kids. They got a lot of athletes. Just good old country boys. And they're a really good team. So. I think our results have been really, really good so far, and we're really excited to get our season rolling.
All right, and that's a good segue into the beginning of the regular season. Are all the players in the positions, or you think you've made all your decisions? You can always tweak and change things if you don't like it, but is everything pretty set for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everything's pretty set on where we want to be. You know, like you said, there might be a little, this guy takes this guy's place or this guy takes this guy's place. But for the most part, we're setting our formation and what we want to do. And I think the kids are really starting to understand that now and doing really well going forward.
Yeah, it's a different world now. You get to play so many more scrimmage games. I remember in the Andy Holt days, he might get two, or maybe just one scrimmage. Yeah. And so it wasn't unusual for him to go into that first tournament and just make wholesale changes. He finds out, hey, we need help on defense, or we need to do these tweaks. We try to get more goals scored or something. But it wasn't unusual, but it's so different now where you have you played some good people, you played a lot of games, and so you're really ready to go, and you think you've got them all in the right spot.
Yeah, I love the rule change. The rule change changed last year to where, it was like right before Christmas you could start playing some games, and now it's like, 2 weeks before Christmas.
Yeah.
So in that 2 weeks you can really get a lot done. So I really love that because I'm not anybody that will ever take a day off or a break. I'm like, hey, if we can play a game, play a game. Because you can learn stuff, like a North Forty game.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn a lot about your group in a game. So I don't ever take a game off. I don't ever take a bye week or anything like that. Nope. Like, we're going to play if we can play. So that's a great rule change, and it really makes it to where, like you said, in the past, you were still trying to figure things out in tournaments. Now when you get to tournaments, you're ready to play them. So that's really good for our group, and, we're really excited, and we want to go try to win a tournament now because we think we're prepared and ready to go win one. So,
and if you have a stumble, it's sure better to do it during scrimmage. It doesn't mount
much.
Count
to your record. Yeah.
Yeah, and be ready and have everything straightened out for when everything starts counting.
Yeah.
Let's take our second internal break. More with Alexi Upton, the Wildcat soccer coach, right after this. And back here on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show, Alexi Upton with us, the Wildcats soccer coach. And we've kind of segued into the beginning of the regular season. And, Coach, you open up with a game coming up against Terrell this week.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a really good group. It was kind of a last-minute game. Our district got moved around because of, just being precautious with COVID. So we had to delete. We were supposed to play Paris kind of later in the month, and we deleted them and moved all the way up to Terrell to the start of the month. So they're a good group. They're ranked at 4A. I want to say 8 or 9. They're a really good group. They've played people that were going to play later in the season. They beat Pine Tree. They beat Kilgore that we play in the tournament. So they're going to be really talented, and that's going to be a really good test for us to start the year off.
Is that a Monday?
Yeah, it's a Monday. Yeah.
That is Monday coming
Monday.
Up. So a big game for you on Monday. And again, everybody's schedule, your JV2, your JV1, and then your varsity, starting at about 4 o'clock with a varsity at 7:15. So a good way to kick off the season. I'm sure Terrell will be talented over there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a good group, and, we're just going to have to, be us and do our game, and we should be good, and hopefully start the new year 1-0.
Now, of course, basketball, different sport. They're inside, all that kind of stuff. Soccer outside makes a big difference. But you've got tournaments. Mm-hmm. And I would imagine there may restrict the number of teams that you can bring in, kind of a smaller tournament. But this is one that we've played in for years and years. I'm not sure recently whether we have since you've been here, but the Forney ISD tournament, that's one that always we go to and really features some good competition.
Yeah, they went to it both years under Wiggins, and then we just tried something different while, in my first 2 years. I always like to go to, different tournaments every year. I just like to go play different people and see different teams. I don't think I've only kept one tournament from every 3 years I've been, so we go to different tournaments every year because I just like to see different people and new people. So, it's a good tournament, and, like you said, it was a staple then for a while, and then we're kind of going back to it. Like you said, restrictions, they didn't really restrict anything in terms of numbers, but they restricted in terms of, like, people being there. When you arrive at the tournament, you're only supposed to be there if you're the next team playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you're the team, if you just played, you have so long to, get up and get out. They're like timing you, clocking you, trying to get you out of there. So they're kind of limiting the just the laying around.
Mm-hmm.
Used to you go to a tournament and you can just sit there and watch people for forever. That's one of the things I actually like. I used to bring our guys early to games and tournaments and just, hey, watch whoever's before you. So I can't do that anymore. But like you said, good tournament is going to have a lot of talented teams in it.
And your pool includes Ennis, also Mesquite Poteet, which we referred to earlier, and then Dallas South Oak Cliff. So you mentioned that you kind of liked that setup for you. Felt like you could make some hay in there, and you'll be playing all of those either on, I think, one game on Thursday and then a couple more on Friday.
Yeah, one on Thursday and then two on Friday. We'll start with Ennis, and they're kind of a middle of the road guy, but they're talented. They're a good group. I've known their coach since I was a little kid. So he's a really great guy. And they're going to be a good group. They're going to be well coached, and they're going to be very organized. They were young last year and kind of had a 500 record. So I'm expecting them to be a pretty good team this year. They'll be really talented. And then we go to then we always play Poteet. They're always going to be talented, always going to have a lot of guys, always going to be really skilled. So that'll be another really good game. And then South Oak Cliff's kind of somebody that I'm not really 100% sure on. I don't really know a lot about them. You can base a lot. You can base a little bit off of last season. They didn't have the best last season, but like you and me were talking in the Open. You can have 3-4 move-ins in the Metroplex, and 2 or 3 freshmen that come up, and you're a whole new team. So, we don't really want to underestimate them. They're going to be a threat as well. But I like our chances to win all 3 of those and hopefully go to some type of final.
Yeah, I remember you played Dallas Kimball either last year or the year before, and surprised me that they were very good, but apparently they were very good, and we actually lost to them. And so it's kind of an X factor when you get a Dallas school. Again, you're not sure what you're going to get.
Yeah, you don't know anything about them. That's a Dallas school. You don't know anything about them. They may have a new coach. They may have a new system. They may have just gotten 3-4 kids from another Dallas school. So you can't ever really prep for any of those guys. You kind of just have to go into the game and say, hey, we're going to do it, and hopefully we come out with a good result. So.
And the schedule playing Ennis Thursday at 2:30 p.m. And again, that's single game, so the in and out, like you were talking about, no big problem. Now you will have a little sitting around time somewhere. I guess on Fridays you have Mesquite Poteet at 10:30 a.m. and then South Oak Cliff at 4:30 p.m. And I think they're both at the same stadium. They use both, I guess, North Forney and Forney stadiums.
Yeah, that first one will be at Forney, and then the next 2 will be at North Forney.
Oh, okay.
At the high school.
All right. That's a nice field, I guess, at North Forney. See, they only have the one big field, that they use for football. But I did know North Forney. I've seen their stadium before, so I knew that they had, at least for practice and that sort of thing. And so I guess they play soccer there, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good little solid stadium. And I think that they just approved to redo it, and they're getting a brand new multi and all that stuff. So they got a good little setup there.
And then Saturday depends on your performance Thursday and Friday as to how you shake out against. I think there's 3 other pools at that Forney tournament.
Yeah, 3 other pools, and it's kind of a different. Most soccer tournaments, if you win your pool, you get kind of matched with somebody that won your pool. This one's a little different, and it's just how many points you get and how your goal differential is like. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So exactly how well you do, you could be the guy with the most points and the most goals, first place. The guy with the least points and the least goals, last place. Everybody's going to get a 4th game though. So it's kind of interesting. So we'll kind of, as we play, maybe we try to hey, sit back, let's keep our 0 so we don't give up any goals, or hey, let's try to go get a couple more goals so we can move this way. But kind of interesting. But like you said, there's 3 more pools, and there's a lot of talent in the other 3 pools. There's Longview from our district in the other pool.
Oh, wow.
There's Lovejoy that's always very, very good, that we always struggle and tie. We've played in the past, both my first 2 years. There's Mesquite High, a powerhouse 6A. So there's a lot of really talented people, and J.J. Pierce, a powerhouse 6A. So there's a lot of really good people in the in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you got your eye on somebody, but you do.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've pointed them out for us, and we appreciate that. More to talk about with Alexi Upton. We'll take our final internal break, and we'll come back and kind of wrap it up here with Coach Alexi Upton, the Wildcat soccer coach, back in a moment. Back here on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show with Coach Alexi Upton. And Coach, tell us a little bit about your team this year. Some guys coming back, that names that'll be familiar to folks that have followed the Wildcat soccer program.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Omar Hernandez coming back. He's a senior this year. He had I think 11 goals and 5 assists last year or something like that. He's always a threat. He's really fast.
Yeah.
He's really, really fast. So he's always a threat. He's always dangerous. Up top with him is Alejandro Diosdado. His brother Brandon Diosdado played for Nicky Wiggins. He's just a really talented dude. He's kind of played a little midfield too for us this year. He's kind of flexible and he can play multiple positions. And he had 8 goals and a few assists last year as well. So he's always a threat in the box as well. DJ Moreno's been our captain for 3 years.
Yeah.
DJ's just a really great guy. His brother Steven's a coach at the high school and is a girls soccer coach. He's just a really good kid. He's incredible. He's in the works of talking to a couple colleges, and hopefully he gets to move on and play at the next level. Some big places too, some really nice places. That's good for him. And then, there's kind of a couple, just role players that are, kind of stepping up and being big names. Joel Pacion was Joel Vasquez, but Joel Pacion, he's grown into from kind of a on the fringe guy. He kind of played some varsity and some JV last year. He's really grown a lot, and he's really stepped into a position that we really needed him at. Bryant Sanchez, an athlete that always comes over from football. He's a senior this year, and he always does really good. He's always solid in the back, great defender. And then I'm gonna highlight a freshman. We have a new freshman. His name's Alexi Upton. His brother was Kevin Yanez that graduated from us last year.
Yeah.
And Alex Yanez he's phenomenal. He's a really great talent. And, I don't play a lot of freshmen, but if they're good enough to play, they're good enough to play is, my philosophy 100%. And he actually starts for us as well. So he's a really good player. He's got great vision, and he's just very calm on the ball. He just takes it down, and he takes time to think and makes good decisions with it. So he's a really good player. So we got a lot of really good players in the field, and I think we'll have a really great year this year. We were talking to the Open. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but I thoroughly expect to be hopefully 4-0 or 4-1 by the end of the week. And have a really good record to start the year.
Yeah, that'd be, get a jump start like that. Sometime you can really build on that. The players get confident and in a good way. It's not where you're overconfident or something.
Absolutely.
And one player that I've noticed, and I know you just kind of skipped over him, but is Salazar, Edgar Salazar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. He's a player that came over from JV, and last year on JV, he was scoring buckets and buckets of goals. His brother just graduated, Jose Salazar, played center mid for us, and Edgar plays up top, and he's a striker, and he's fast. I mean, he's just a fast little dude. You'll play him a ball, and you're like, dang, he's fast. So he scored buckets of goals for JV. He probably scored 10 to 15 goals on JV last year. And so this year we were like, we got to get this guy on varsity. He can score. He's good. And he scored probably a good 3-4 in the all the little guys games, and I think he scored one more at Greenville. So he's got quite a bit of goals. They don't count yet, but he's got quite a bit of goals so far, and he'll be a good threat for us going forward.
We talked about Kevin Yanez last year and how he was kind of Mr. Assist, and I'm beginning to see that Salazar, all of a sudden his name's popping up on a lot of assists to goals. So, he's kind of developing that. But he's certainly, if anybody saw that scrimmage against those small schools, he was putting it in there along with those other guys you mentioned. But, that's a versatile player that can score and, give those wonderful passes.
Yeah, he's gonna help in every asset of the game and everything that we need to do. And but I think our big assist guy is actually gonna be another Yanez.
Just in the blood.
Yeah,
huh?
it's just in the blood, I guess. But Alex Yanez, he's got great vision, and he's a total assist guy. He's always setting people up and stuff like that. He's kind of exactly like his brother. He really is. He plays kind of the same. They're a little different in some of the things that they do, but Alex is kind of the same. We put him in the exact same position, the exact same formation that we ran last year, and he's plugged in perfectly. And he's kind of just like his brother. His brother did a little more. Was a little more gritty, did a little more defense. Alex is still small and young, so he's still I'm trying to teach him that every day. Hey, you got to do this. Hey, you don't have a lot of responsibility on defense, but this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. But he's learning. He's getting a lot better, and we got, like I said, there's names on there, and that we're really talented this year. So I really expect a lot from us this year.
And of course, what you really hang your hat on a lot is their defense.
Mm-hmm.
If you're weak on defense, you can score all the goals in the world, and you're going to be out there with a shootout.
Yeah, we don't want
going
shootouts.
on. But so, how is the defense? How's your defense?
Absolutely. One of the guys we highlighted, Brian Sanchez. He kind of commands it back there, and then Matthew Clark's a two-sport guy, plays a little football, JV, and then he's always played varsity for us. He started as a freshman last year. He'll start again, and he's a really great key person back there. And then, and then the third spot back there, there's three back there, and we're still trying to kind of figure it out. We're plugging some people in. It's not quite set in stone, so we're still trying to figure that out. But then, and then you go one step back, and you got we have two good keepers. We had two good keepers last year with Noe and Brenna. Elazar, and this year we got two good keepers as well. We got a senior Alex Rodriguez that's a D line for football, two-sport guy again, and then we got a young guy named Ty Wynn that's a sophomore, and he started and then kind of left. He's been gone for a while, family vacation, stuff like that. And A-Rod's been great ever since he's been gone, so it's kind of it's kind of up in the air. And one of them's gonna have to go win the spot, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, incredible skill set that you have to be a nose guard in football and be in the goal in soccer. That just kind of blows my mind.
Yeah,
but he's got that versatility where he can do that.
He's a total opposite in both of his sports. In the nose tackle spot, he's got to be really just gritty and kind of bust his way through people. You still have to kind of do that in the keeper, but and then he's got to he's just kind of be kind of foulsy and dirty, kind of the spot he's at, and kind of be a bulldog. And then you switch over to soccer, and he's got to be, really like, I don't know if graceful is the right word, but, he's got to be quick on his feet. He's got to make big saves, and he made a really big save versus Pittsburgh, and, flying in the air, pushed one out. I mean, so he's the total opposite on both sports. So it's really fun to see, but, he's a great guy, and like you said, you're just name dropping left and right, and, I think this is our, going into my third year, it's really good to see that we can, name drop some guys. It shows that we're talented. It shows that we got a lot of players that are dangerous. So like I said, I have really high expectations for us, and I hope that we have a really great year and have a lot of wins and a really good record.
Who are you looking at in district? Well, I mean, it all starts with Mount Pleasant, doesn't it always? But I'm sure them, and then who else?
Yeah, it always starts with Mount Pleasant. Like you said, they're going to be really good always. It seems like they graduate 10 guys, and then they find 10 other guys, so they're always going to be really good. And then Longview moved down from 6A, and that's going to be a really good team. Longview got first or second all 4 years they were in 6A, in the district with the Rockwalls and the Mesquites. So they're going to be just as good as Mount Pleasant. So it's going to kind of be a three-headed race for us to fight with those two guys to try to get first, and then Pine Tree and T-High are kind of, in that mix, kind of, 3, 4, 5, somewhere around there. They're both solid teams, and they'll both be, dangerous, and then kind of, trailing off, Marshall, they don't really play soccer. It seems like, it's just not, maybe not the right coach or maybe not the right, emphasis yet, but, and then Hallsville's kind of, in the same boat as them, So, it's a three-headed race. It's a three-headed dragon, so and it's, it always starts with Mount Pleasant. I think Mount Pleasant will beat Longview. It's always Mount Pleasant, and that's always the guy you're chasing, so.
Yeah, we haven't seen Longview in a few years. They have been up with the big guys in 6A. Used to have an English coach over there.
They still have him, yeah.
Still have him. Yeah, he's a delight to talk to. I think we all enjoy the English accents, and he certainly got it. And but he can certainly coach. Pine Tree had a wonderful coach. I'm not sure if he has moved on or whether he's still there, but they had him for many years too. So it'll be a competitive district.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a really good district. The four that make playoffs is going to be, four really good teams. Like you said, the three-headed race, and then, someone's going to sneak in there in that last spot.
Yeah.
And it's going to be Pine Tree, it's going to be T-High, it might be Hallsville. Someone's going to have to go into the district and steal a game from one of the big guys, or so it's all to play for. So we're really excited to start our season. So.
Seemed like every year for a while it was us and Hallsville playing for the last district spot, and luckily we came out on top most of the time to get that spot. But I think you've moved on that and have much higher expectations than that. But going to be tough in the district.
Yeah, it's going to be tough in the district. Like you said, we've kind of moved on from the kind of the struggling. I would not quite, but I don't want to fight for fourth. We want to go fight for first. And if we end up being second or third because we fought so hard for first, then that's all good. If we're 16-6 and we lost a couple games trying to win first place, then that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But I think we've moved on, and we're very talented enough to where we're not fighting for fourth places anymore, and that shows that our program's growing. Our program's getting better, and we're growing in numbers as well. With the JV2 thing as well. So all the signs look good, and we're going in the right direction. So,
Coach, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. You've got some soccer to go watch over at Prim Stadium,
Yes,
and then some alumni scrimmages. We want to mention those again. Girls start at 2 and 3:30, and the Wildcats will be there at 5:30 and 7:15.
Yes, sir.
All day at the Prim. Just a lot of soccer to see, and some really exciting teams this year on the local level, the Wildcats and Lady Cats, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun this year to go out and see those. Dress warmly. It's usually very cool at the Prim, and sometimes a lot of cool, but eventually it warms up near the end of the season. But thanks again to Coach Alexi Upton. That's going to do it for this Saturday morning coaches show. I'm Don Julian, and so long, everybody.